Hello Indie Game fans, the Game Awards, or more cynically, the Game Advertisements 2020 just happened, and with it came the usual lots of announcements, reviews and trailers, so here's a selection of 10 of them that I'm personally most excited about. Now of course, not all of these announcements are indies, but believe it or not, I do still enjoy the occasional AAA title, so hop on in and I'll tell you why. I hope that I'm not pronouncing the name of this game wrong, but Tchia is an open-world adventure game where you play as a young girl exploring this majestic island. On top of running and swimming, our heroine does also have powers and can take control of any animal or object, and it seems wonderfully made and gorgeous as well. This is inspired by a place named New Caledonia, which is a French territory in the South Pacific, where comparisons are already being drawn to Moana, where both are representing islander culture. As with all games trying to be more diverse, I do get a little bit cautious since there may be some amount of appropriation, but apparently the co-founders of the studio are from there, so I'm a little bit more comfortable, but we'll have to see. Special mention goes to the Sephiroth character review for Smash Bros. On Switch, which isn't exactly the most earth-shattering since Cloud is in the game after all, but the memes, the sweet, sweet memes. The next entry is very confusing since Endless Dungeon is being made by Amplitude Studio, best known for the Endless Legend and Endless Space Strategy series, but they did also make Dungeon of the Endless, hence the confusion. Both are roguelike dungeon crawlers where you choose a squad of characters and delve into space stations, protecting your crystal against never-ending waves of enemies, where apparently this is some sort of spiritual successor. The skeptic in me immediately thought that AAA studios were going after the roguelite genre given how popular it is, but we'll see how this goes. Warhammer 40,000 Darktide was not newly announced, but did get a new gameplay trailer, and 40k Vermintide does look good as expected.
Master of mankind, may thy light guide us in the darkness. Burn the heretic, kill the mutant, purge the unclean. Master of mankind, grant us strength.
You play as a convict turned agent working for the Inquisition, sent to fight the forces of chaos, although I do believe that it's unique characters as was the setup in Vermintide 1 and 2. Developer F.I.S.T really know what they're doing with regards to this space, so it's no surprise that they turned their attention to the 40k universe, and interestingly, this month's PC Gamer magazine has an article on how this game is more than just Vermintide with guns, so perhaps check that out if you want to know more. A nice surprise is the long-anticipated release of Super Meat Boy Forever, actually coming out this year a day before Christmas Eve. This auto-runner platformer has been anticipated by fans, and I do think that it's amazing that Super Meat Boy released 10 years ago and yet still has a fan base. It's an Epic exclusive, and I don't think that the team has the same amount of clout as something like a Supergiant, so the reception may be bad.
The Tinder could be a threat. You'd better think twice before you hand it to them.
F.I.S.T. Forged in Shadow Torch was already one of my most anticipated Metroidvanias of 2021, and it got a new gameplay trailer, so do enjoy more glimpses into this title. The action looks great, where the mechanical arm appears to have a lot more functions, such as a grappling hook. Very stylish action, and I'm looking forward to this. I should really start a consultancy for game developers on the basic things of game marketing, since Season is a terrible name for a game, but it does look beautiful.
Our grandparents lived for 1,000 years, and our parents had a century to themselves.
It's an exploration game where you explore and document the world, making sketches, taking photographs, recording sounds, and so on. Gorgeous looking game as well, and to clear up even more confusion, this is from Scavengers Studio, and it's not the Scavengers game that did also show up during the presentation.
But us, we have one season.
Your world has been cast into a dark spiral. Place enchanted cards along a harrowing loop.
A title that some of you might miss since it was during the pre-show is Loop Hero, looking like a roguelite strategy RPG where your character endlessly loops around a procedurally generated track, and you have to place buildings and such to aid them on their journey. The narrator sounds like the same guy that did the Enter the Gungeon trailers, and unsurprisingly is being published by Devolver, but it looks great, so I'm in.
Spiral and save your world. Loop Hero, coming in 2021. It's time to go.
In one of the best trailers of the night, I absolutely lost it when Vin Diesel of all people showed up at the reveal trailer for Ark 2, the sequel to Ark Survival Evolved. As with all wacky things during the Game Awards, cue the memes and jokes, where I did see everything from Horizon Diesel Dawn to The Fast and the Furious, but at the very least, it looks like it should be better than Fast and Furious Crossroads. Unfortunately, no gameplay was shown off, which is always a bummer, but apparently this was captured in-engine and looks like more Ark. I do like the sci-fi dinosaur thing that the series has going for it, so I wonder how the inclusion of Vin Diesel will change anything, if it's just a main quest giver or if there's a campaign or a story mode, and in a more meta fashion, what would happen to Ark 1 when this gets released. And of course, Back 4 Blood is top of my list, since this is basically Left 4 Dead 3, a 4-player co-op first-person shooter where you have to take out a whole bunch of zombies.
There's too many! Stick together, we got a job to do.
You may not know this about me, but the Left 4 Dead series is very close to my heart, since I do remember getting it and essentially staying up all night to play through the campaign in the original with a friend, and is one of my most treasured gaming memories. Rather than simply using the HO virus excuse, the zombies were created from a worm found in the Arctic, so it's nice to see something different, with their own version of the special infected and simply gigantic ones as well. The gameplay footage does look very familiar, down to the look of the pistol, the safe house and all that, though I was waiting for that familiar line of "Pills here."
Take it out! Oh man!
It's also being made by Turtle Rock Studio, who are the original developer, although they did put out the ill-fated Evolve in between, and if Valve is not going to be making the sequel, at least we get a spiritual successor taking the #1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos, and I will see you after the jump.